Right now, one of the most critical arteries of global trade is on fire. A major world power has been pushed to the absolute brink. So we're going to break down exactly what just happened and why this matters to, well, pretty much everyone, everywhere. And this is not some future prediction. I mean, think about it. 1/5 of the entire world's oil supply is, as we speak, being held hostage in one of the most volatile places on the planet. Our story is unfolding in the Strait of Hormuz. You've heard the name. It is the world's most important and maybe most dangerous maritime choke point. It's this narrow little waterway where, honestly, global energy security just hangs by a thread. And while the politicians are talking, a violent attack on a commercial ship has just kicked off a massive international crisis. Let's get right into it. Okay, so this whole thing really boils down to a single ship and one incredibly brazen attack that has basically just lit a fuse in the Persian Gulf. So here she is. Meet the Mayuri Nari. It's a container ship flying a Thai flag, and it was just on a routine trip heading for the port of Kandla in India. So as the ship was making its way toward India, it was targeted by Iran's Revolutionary Guards Corps. It was hit by 2 projectiles. We're not exactly sure what they were, but they sparked a massive fire that completely disabled its engines. Now, thankfully, 20 crew members were rescued by the Omani Navy, but 3 sailors are still missing, and they're feared to be trapped inside that burning wreckage. And you better believe this attack triggered an immediate and furious response from New Delhi. This is a huge deal. It's signaling a dramatic and possibly game-changing shift in India's public stance. Yeah, India's Ministry of External Affairs fired back with this incredibly scathing statement. And let me tell you, this language is unusually strong and direct for them. They're making it crystal clear that civilian ships are being treated like military targets, and their patience has just run out. And here's why. The Mayuri Nari wasn't some isolated incident. Nope. It is the 13th commercial vessel to be attacked in the region since this whole conflict flared up. This isn't random. It's a clear and escalating pattern of aggression.
All right, let's zoom out a bit because this is not just a regional problem. The fallout from this one attack is already sending shockwaves all around the globe.
So here's the crucial question, right? Why is India, a country that usually plays its cards very close to the chest, diplomatically speaking, taking such a firm and public stand, especially since there were no Indian crew members on this particular ship? Well, the answer shows you just how incredibly high the stakes are for all of us. And it all starts with the human factor. You see, Indians make up a massive slice of the global seafaring workforce. We're talking about nearly 12%. These are the people who literally keep the world's economy moving. And that 12% isn't just a statistic. It translates to over 320,000 active Indian sailors out on the water at any given moment. They're on the tankers, the container ships, all over the world. And yes, that includes right here in these incredibly high-risk zones. So for India, you see, this isn't some abstract legal principle. They have so many of their citizens out sea. And with 2 Indian seafarers already killed in this conflict, protecting the freedom of navigation is a direct issue of citizen safety. It's about national survival. But it's not just about the safety of the sailors. There is a second reason this hits you, me, and everyone else: the price of oil. That 20% of the world's supply we mentioned at the start, it's being blocked. And the markets, well, they're reacting instantly. This timeline really shows the chain reaction. See, ever since strikes began back on February 28th, commercial shipping traffic through the strait has just slowed to a crawl. The result? As of today, global oil prices are surging to highs we haven't seen since back in 2022. And as all these diplomatic statements and economic chaos swirl around, the threats themselves are getting a lot more explicit and a lot more dangerous. On one side, you've got India's plea. It's a clear demand. Targeting civilian sailors, people just doing their jobs, is a red line. It just cannot be crossed. And then, on the other side, you have this: a chilling, totally unambiguous warning from the IRGC. Not some ships, not enemy's ships, but any ship. That is a direct threat to shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Completely. So this brings us to the critical question that's just looming over this whole situation. Where in the world do we go from here? The strait is now effectively a no-go zone for a lot of shipping companies. The world economy, which is already pretty fragile, is now facing a supply shock that could send inflation soaring and mess up supply chains for months. So the question isn't if this is going to have an impact, it's really about how long can we all sustain it. And that leaves us with a final crucial question, with its own citizens, its economy, and its rising global status all on the line. What is India's next move going to be? Will it stick to the path of just stern diplomatic condemnations, or is this crisis going to force it to consider a more active military role to protect these vital sea lanes? The world is watching.